what can I say? It's spring ball. Some good, some bad. So it's been a while, and it was really good to get out there and get everybody together, get on the field, just like you would expect in spring ball. Some very good play and some sloppy play. So a lot to get cleaned up, but that's why we're out there. I really look at spring as a fundamental time. Certainly with Rich coming in here and just getting a feel for things and the way he calls things and the way he sets it up and just some minor differences in terminology and plays and things of that nature. There'll be a little bit of a learning curve. I'm not really worried about that. I'm still really worried about fundamentals and just getting better as a individually, each person getting better. I think big picture things, that'll all come together. With the system and things of that nature, I really want to just challenge each player to take it to another level and really get better. I think you could see that with Will. He's at a point where he really is comfortable back there and just really working on the little things to become a better player each and every day. And we really need all the guys to take that approach.
I know a lot of guys get off-season shoulder, knee cleanup, whatever. Are there any players that are just missing the spring?
Yeah, there's guys that are out that we're going through some surgeries. So I'll get you that at a later time when I'm more accurate, more prepared for that question. But there's certainly some guys that are out. Yeah.
What are the guys who had long-term injuries last year? Keaton, Cleveland, Eli, Cox.
They're all out there, right, Tony? Who was that? Who'd you say? Keaton's out there. DeKell's out there. Eli's out there. Cleveland's out there. Yeah. Ox is partial right now. He's not fully ready to go. Trying to think who else. Isaiah Cummings is not full go. He had off-season surgery. Yeah.
How do those guys look? Some of those guys coming up with just Keaton, Cleveland?
They look good. They look good today. It's everybody. When you come into the first day of spring practice, winter, our winter conditioning and winter is so. Those guys are looking to get stronger, look bigger, and put on. Sometimes putting on some weight, sometimes trying to cut weight and just get stronger in general. The first time you go out there, it's a little different. Everybody can be a little bit sluggish.
There's been talks of Vito moving out the corner.
Mm-hmm.
What does he have to show at that spot? I know he's shown a lot of ability to hit, but what does he have to show to spring to be able to play that?
Well, Vito's a very versatile player. You've heard me say that all the time. We'll experiment with moving him around. That doesn't mean it's set in stone. He's a very good football player. He's one of our top 11. So we want to get him on the field and play him where we need some help. We feel like he's versatile enough to do that, but we'll continue to move him around.
Especially so much depth.
Mm-hmm.
Especially how fun is it to kind of experiment and get your best 11? You got probably 6 linebackers who can start.
Yeah, we do. We got some good depth and guys that are gaining experience that need this spring. The nice thing is with the 2 starting inside backers, they've got a lot of snaps under their belt. So we could get some other guys some good reps.
Watching Zach out there today with the linemen, did you take any particular note of what he was doing?
Well, I think it was evident even in day one to see Zach and the way he works with those guys and the way they're really coming off the football and running and moving, that his experience is going to really help us.
You saw Keontae Goodwin a lot as a recruit. What's it like seeing him on the football field?
Yeah, it's good to see him out there. Big fella. But Keontae is a really great young man. Really wants to be great, and I'm sure things were moving fast for him today. But he's a big presence, and like I said, I love his attitude and his work ethic, and really wants to be great. And if he continues that, then the sky's the limit for him.
What jumps out to you? It's about that group as a whole. Obviously a lot of new faces, guys that have been around for a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, we have a good group. I think even all the new coaches that come in that spend any time around our players, they really enjoy being around them, and that's a credit to our players. And the guys we've recruited, they're good people. They want to get better, and they're fun to be around. And that's not always the case.
There's some guys that have been in the program a couple of years. On the O-line haven't played a lot. Any of them from that group show you that maybe they're ready?
Oh, we'll see. It's a little early. We didn't have pads on today, so I definitely feel like we'll be fine. When it's all said and done. I mean, we'll bring those guys along. They'll be ready to go.
This will be the last spring, I think, you beat with that same turf. I don't think we've asked you about getting a new facility going, but are you kind of happy to be washing your hands at the smaller field?
I hope so. I hope this is the last time. I didn't see any cranes in there yet, so so we'll see. So we need the space, and it gets tight in there in the spring. That's the downside. The positive is we do very well academically, generally speaking, in the spring, with going in the morning and giving our players a lot of time to handle their academics and but when you go early in the morning, that's the downside. It's cold, and you got to go inside quite a bit. So hopefully, after spring break, it'll warm up a little bit, and we'll get outside.
Think about your guys.
Well, I was just sitting with Josh until I had to come out here and talk to you guys. But I was just sitting with Josh in there, and he looks fantastic, and obviously did very well. And all the guys, they represented us the right way, and very proud of them. And they'll have more opportunities here to work out and to get around the NFL guys. And so just it's been nice catching up with a few of them. I got caught up with Josh, like I said, a little bit today, and Darren came by and saw me yesterday. So I'm sure over the course of this next couple of weeks, I'll see all the guys.
What do you think guys like Josh and Jamin last year, Josh strikes me as a guy, I don't know very high, but sort of climbing or get his name out there more. What happens between the end of the season and now that kind of lends itself to those guys maybe getting more attention?
Well, I think once you spend some time around these players, then everybody wants good people in their organization, and you see very good football players, but you see great people that are going to make their teams better, make their organization better. It's you'd be crazy not to take some of these guys. They're good people, and they work hard, and they help your team win. So I think Josh is the same way. I mean, it doesn't take you 5 minutes to spend any time with Josh, and you know what kind of person he is, and he'll make your organization better.
Is there, you said at the combine he talked to Tomlin, the Steelers. It seems like Tomlin is a big Kentucky football fan. Is there anything more to that?
Well, I hope he likes that blue collar work ethic that we have. I mean, I know that's Pittsburgh. That's them. They're tough. Our guys come out of here, ready to play and used to working. And I take that as a compliment because certainly Coach Tomlin, he's one of those guys we all look up to. He's one of the best in the business, and he's been around a long time, and he knows very clearly what he's looking for. So I take it as a compliment if he's drafting our guys.
All
right, thanks, guys.
All right, let's talk. Questions?
Was there, you watched those guys, Mark said you'd been holed up in your office for a while watching film and everything. So was there anything different, any expectations defined once you got to see him and actually work with him in person?
That's a good question. Kind of where the starting point was for a day one. Just where they were last year, kind of starting their offense from scratch, and then being around them, kind of being around Will, and then going out there and just seeing how they gelled together, how they could do the little things day one and see where we were really starting at. And there's a good foundation there, and so it's something exciting to build on.
We'll talk about his footwork really being what he's focused on in this offseason. How important is that for him taking the next step for being an elite quarterback?
Yeah, I mean, my background and kind of my beliefs in quarterback play and what I know and have taught is everything is tied to the timing of the feet. And if you're going to run this style of offense, a pro-style offense, and you want to bring out the best in the quarterback, the timing elements are everything. And I just feel like it empowers them to be in position to throw when things flash. You generate more explosives. You're more accurate. There's a lot of things that catch and run is important, and it all starts with the quarterback's feet. So, yeah, Will's made a switch. He likes it. I think it'll just get better and better the more he does it, and like the way it looked today.
You see how physical he is. How does that fit into what you kind of want to do with the quarterback?
Well, he's got to protect himself too. So we've had some discussions. There's a fine line between being a baller and being reckless. And when your organization or your university or your teammates and people are counting on you, there's a good balance of controlling. Impulse control is what I'd say, where you have to make those decisions in split seconds to protect yourself and get down or run out of bounds full speed, or, hey, I need the first down on 3rd and 5 and this is to win a game. I got to sell out. So to me, his physicality is one of his blessings, but it's also something that if he doesn't manage it could lead to negatives too. And so that's the fine line where when you're in a red jersey and you're not getting hit, you never feel that. So it's not until game day. So practicing that mindfully now will only help him down the road.
You talked about the timing with the footwork, but he's got a bunch of new receivers he's going to be throwing to this fall as well. How do you develop that timing, that chemistry between thrower and pass catcher?
Again, that takes time, and that's there's a part of what the way I look at spring is when we come out of spring, let's know what everyone does well, what they can where we can put them in a position to bring out their best traits, and then what Will does well distributing the ball at his best. And if we can combine all that and not waste time on things that guys can't do or Will doesn't want to do or aren't a perfect fit, if we do that, I think we can have the best, most efficient offense and have to practice less and do less. And that's the goal right now, so that everyone's sharp and crisp and fundamentally sound.
What are your early impressions of that receiver group? I'm sure when you watch film, it was a lot of Wendell Robinson and Josh Ali, and those guys aren't here anymore.
Yeah, Wendell's pretty good. It'd be good on Sundays too. No, I'm excited. Like there's young guys, there's some older guys, there's some guys that are waiting for their opportunity. That's a great thing about college football. Like you come in, you're an 18-year-old, you become a man while you're here. You develop also as a player your skill set, and Woody coaches them hard. He gets the best out of them. I think that their fundamentals will come around, their confidence will grow. They play faster when they learn your offense, and it always helps when you got a quarterback that can get you the ball. So I think that we got a lot of guys that will be able to spread the ball around. We'll just see how it all fits together in the next 14 practices.
A lot of guys in that tight ends.
Yeah.
Thoughts on him right now? How does that position fit into your overall philosophy?
Huge believer in multiple personnels, and tight ends are a big part of that. I look at tight ends as and hybrid type guys. They're chess pieces. They're the ability to manipulate a defense or put guys in position. It all starts with bigger players, and if you can do that, then it frees up receivers, halfbacks, frees up tight ends. So they are going to have a huge part of what we do, and getting them comfortable and the run part of it, and tying it to the pass scheme. I think we got the right kind of guys.
I noticed Justice Dingle was listed as a fullback on the roster, switching from defense to offense. What was the thinking behind that?
Hold some auditions, see what guys can do. It comes back to the tight end question. There are some guys that are going to play close to the line of scrimmage, some guys that are better off the ball and moving around and slot traits and things like that. You want to have a balance of all of them that add up into this perfect tight end. And so I think we have those kind of guys. I want to see who can play off the ball, who's smart enough to do it. You have to have a good feel for the game. So we got a couple guys we're going to take a look at and see which one sticks and if that we can carve out a role for them.
We've seen a lot of Chris Rodriguez in his first few. You get the chance to see how do you think you can use it?
I think that everything you see last year is how you use him. He's really got a real good feel for zone running, which excites me. It's one of the great things about taking this opportunity was watching him on tape and how he runs behind his pads, and he has a real feel for combinations and how to run the ball. And he's tough, and everything I believe where I come from, it's yards after contact. Those are the best backs to coach and be around, and it's everything. And I think that's the kind of back he is.
Everybody good? All right. Thanks, Coach.
Thanks.
Also, obviously, there was a lot of talk about Liam leaving, being here to play for him. How have
Yeah.
you handled all this
Yeah.
transition the last 2 weeks?
I mean, obviously, I saw the chatter online about it. I didn't try to pay too much attention on it, but I knew it was a possibility. And honestly, I'm just happy for him. I think that if he would have gone anywhere else, maybe in college or something, I would have thought a little differently. But I mean, I feel like that's an opportunity that you can't turn down, being where him coming from there. But I'm excited for him. I'm excited about Coach Scangarello. And I think we're just going to be able to bring Coach in and just improve and keep building on what we did last year.
You were able to be in the room when they were interviewing people. Usually that's kind of reserved for the Stoops. So what was that experience like, just being involved in the process?
It was really cool for Coach Stoops to think of me and to really value my opinion. Meant a lot, and luckily we aligned in like kind of what we thought and who we thought would be the best option for us. And just for Coach Stoops to think of me to do that was really cool.
Working with Coach James or Coach Lee, how are they different and how are they similar?
I mean, I think Coach Scangarello brings a lot of just technicality to the quarterback position. He's really able to focus in on the little things. And, I mean, just with his experience and how many different NFL quarterbacks he's worked with, he understands how different guys tick and how just footwork and timing align with certain concepts and routes. And I think that just the little things that we've switched already footwork-wise and timing-wise is going to help us a lot in the long run.
We talked a lot about the similarities in the offense. Is day one of spring practice, does it feel like a day one? Or
No. It definitely some stuff a little different. Some terminology is a little different, but we try to keep as much as we could the same. But we're all, especially with the meetings we've had, just with the switch in terminology and how we're going to call plays, we had a pretty solid, kind of smooth first day. But I mean, first day camp always going to be a little rusty. Definitely some things we got to work on, but also a lot of good things. A lot of things we did really well.
Was there one or two things that you really wanted to focus on this offseason to
Yeah.
take the next step?
I just say marrying my footwork with throws and just really getting consistency when it comes to timing, and that just the throw starts from the ground up. When a throw is missed, it's more often than not you can see something with the footwork as to why that throw missed. And so just really just working on just perfecting my footwork and getting the time and accuracy of my throws on point.
How do you adjust to life without Wandell out there?
Yeah, and I mean obviously like Wandell's gone, but we got some guys. We got some guys that have really stepped up, some young dudes who didn't necessarily get opportunities to play last year that worked really hard this offseason and made some flashes and did well today. So it's going to be exciting to see how they progress throughout spring ball and kind of how the depth chart shakes up as we go on.
What is what do they have to do to make those strides? Is there anything specific to working with you? How do they get up to speed?
I think it's just reps and just understanding the playbook and understanding routes. Once me and the receivers are on the same page in terms of knowing how different cuts are going to come versus different coverages or how things are supposed to time up, and understanding the importance of getting that timing right so that the throw is going to where I think it's going to go every time. It just comes with repetition. And that's just the same thing with me being a quarterback. I think just with repetition and experience, I'm just going to get better and better, just like I did throughout last season, and just got to keep building on it.
Starting a spring practice like when you're coming off the way you guys ended the season.
Mhm.
And that kind of momentum.
Yeah, it's exciting. I mean, because obviously we have high expectations and high standards for ourselves. So we go out there, and even though you might make a little mistake here, obviously we don't mistakes aren't acceptable, but you can't beat yourself up about it. There's just a process you got to go through, and making mistakes is part of that process. And I think as long as we just trust what the coaches may have us do, we should be able to progress and just build on what we did last year and hopefully have an even better season.
You had to come in here and kind of hit the ground running.
Yeah.
Now you're going into a spring practice where you've been around these guys, built some relationships,
Yeah.
established your leadership.
Yeah.
How was that different for you?
Yeah, it's awesome to be able to have a full year before the season, opposed to just a couple months in the summer. Is really going to help me kind of understand what we have and kind of what our offensive makeup's going to be like, what we're good, what we might not be good at, and just kind of what our bread and butter stuff's going to be, so that when we get into camp, we just already have this foundation and I already have this comfort with the offense before we jump into the season.
Everybody good? All right.
Cool.
Thanks. Have fun.
Thanks.
All right, Cleveland Thomas, question?
How everybody doing?
Cleveland, you did look like a coach on the sideline most of the year. What did you get out of that? I know you wanted to How did that make you a better player?
So what it helped me with is just learning how the offensive coordinator call plays. What do we look at, and just understanding the defense more. Is one thing to learn it as a player, but I feel like it's a next step to learn it as a coach. So looking at the different defensive schemes, and then looking at our full playbook, and then understanding why we call certain plays that week based off their coverage, basically just helped me last year to stay in the game, and it helped me this year, going forward as a player again.
How does it feel getting back out there? Any rust? 100%.
It's definitely. I got my feet wet a little bit before the spring ball, so I feel like I'm 100%, and I just feel great. Like it's a blessing because yes, I was a coach last year. Yes, Coach Stoops helped me stay with the foot, stay dialed in. But I was itching to be a player again, and now I get the opportunity again, and I'm just ready to take it.
When you're standing on the sidelines and watching a quarterback like Will, I mean, just how much more does that make you want to get out there?
Oh man, I'm talking about and. So I've played, I played with a plethora of quarterbacks, but Will was just like he's so passionate and he's pumped, and then seeing that, and then I'm like, oh man, I want to get in there with him and just jump up with like when he hurdles somebody and he goes to the side, like, yeah, I'm like, yeah, let's go Will. Like it's definitely very much exciting, and now that I do have the opportunity, it gives me like a breath of fresh air. Like now I can play with the guy I wanted to play with. Like when he announced he coming back. Man, it was like a party in my room that day. Like, he was like, I'm back with the little Terminator. I was very excited because I really wanted to play with Will and not get that chance.
You got now that you had that on your belt, you're the old head in a room full of a bunch of young guys. What's that dynamic like?
So we have another kind of old head. So we have Rashawn Lewis, who is not an old head in this system. Then we have DeMarcus, who's like a year under me. But it's definitely, I'm not trying to be like, the old, big guy who, older as everybody around. But I feel like our room has like a nice maturity level to it because a lot of young guys had to step up last year, with the injuries we've had late in the season. So it's not like a big difference in dynamic, but it's definitely funny because the young guys always joke on me about being the old guy. And the fact that I did play the coach's role last year don't help the case at all.
What did you see from those young guys last year that we maybe didn't get to see them play a lot, and how they were progressing over the course of the year, and then maybe can step up this spring and help you guys?
Looking at our receiver room, basically the highlighted players, Wandale, Josh Ali, you had Isaiah Epps, then you had DeMarcus late, a little bit of sprinkle of Chauncey and Rashawn, but like we got some guys like C. Lou, jumping ability. Oh my goodness! Then now we got the T. Rob in there. I seen what he was able to do, and then Tay. Like I don't know. We didn't see a lot of Tay, but that speed that he has is unmatched. And just seeing those guys grind last year, and Chauncey numbers called. He made plays. DeMarcus late in the season made plays. These guys are dialed in, and they'll continue to be dialed in. Now these guys are the front runners of our receiver room. So I'm happy to see that happen.
Like you said, though, they didn't get a lot of game reps. How do you all, especially you who's catching passes for the first time, really, how do you all develop that chemistry with Will where he knows where you're going to be at?
So we did a lot, we did a lot of routes on air. I'm talking about we did lots of 7-ons, routes on air, and just ROAs with Will. Like we'll have this this coach that coaches him, and he calls up some of the guys and be like, hey, can you just catch for me? And Will, Bo, they have this coach, they from the camera or whatever, and we just catch balls with Will. And we take those moments. We'll have ROAs 2 times, 3 times a week. And whenever he calls, we come. And whenever we're able, we all get together. But we definitely had a lot of time behind the scenes with the QBs, getting our, timing right, get the routes right, getting it crisp. So when we do start spring ball like we did today, it's not like we started so far back. Like it's not, we just pick up from where we left off.
What's the energy like in the building and on the field when you come off a season like you just had? Are guys just ready to get back to work when you have a 10-win season in the bowl?
We definitely want to get back to work, but we're hungrier. The fact that we know we got that close, and that we know our ability, and we have certain guys back from last year, like Will, like everything we break on is ATL. Everything we break on is Atlanta. Everything we break on, we're trying to move forward as a team and as a program. So the energy is definitely more elevated than last year. And yes, we know we did, but we're not trying to strive for like our last year's season. We're trying to strive for bigger and better. So energy is definitely more, I want to say it is hype. It is exciting. Even the days that we do bad, you won't see the defense getting down or offense getting down. It's next play. We got to practice like, with maturity. Like we're old heads, which some of the players are. And you can see a lot of the older guys picking up young cats, and a lot of young cats with the ones and the twos making plays like they're old heads, but they're really young. But that just takes from our old heads knowing and practicing like men.
When a guy like Wandale comes through and watching him, and what does that do for you guys? I mean, obviously, you don't want to be Wandale or try to be Wandale, but just from a motivation standpoint, like, we don't want that to be the last time a receiver does things like that.
When Wandale come through here, it definitely boosts the receiver room, like our mentality. Because over the years I've been here, like the receiver room's always like, I ain't gonna say frowned upon, but by Wandale and Josh doing what they did last year, now we see that we're capable. We just gotta make the plays. You know what I'm saying? So when Wandale come in and do what he did, now guys like thirsting for what he did. Yes, nobody, Wandale's a unique player. Nobody can be like him, but we're trying to do what he did. And even if we go to step forward, we go a step forward. But it definitely brings more excitement to the room and more hunger as well.
For you, I mean, being part of this for a while, like you said, maybe frowned upon or whatever, is it nice? Does it feel different?
Definitely. It definitely feels different. Now you won't see us, like, we're not I'm not going to say weakest link, but we're not the group that everybody has to, like, wonder what the receiver's going to do. No, we're the group that's going to make plays. When the time is called upon, we're going to make those big plays.
And do you want to be a coach now after that experience last year? Did that change where you want to move?
Definitely. I definitely made some changes behind the scenes with my life after football. I went from wanting to be an FBI agent to I'm definitely getting into coaching after this. Like, no doubt in my mind, I want to be a coach. Now the question is, do I want to be a strength and conditioning coach or a football coach? Because I do like to work out, so I don't know.
Everybody good?
What's going on?
So, has the position switched to center? Is that officially happening?
Yeah, I started there first day for spring, and Yenser's really big coming from Schlarman. Everyone's gonna know how to play every position, so I'm just starting out at center for today, and then we're gonna see where our best five lands up come fall.
Making that adjustment difficult for you? Does it seem pretty natural?
It has its differences. I mean, little minute things where my hands go, how my feet are set, but I mean, having a GA like Drake who played center at a really high level for a long time, and then talking to Fortner when he's doing his combine and NFL process, it's been really helpful to have those guys as someone I can lean on and talk to for transitioning positions like that with all their experience they've got.
Obviously, the whole line has this big blue wall, persona, but that center spot in particular, it's been a pretty long line of successful guys. Does that mean something to you to try and continue that?
Yeah, it's something I take pride in, and hopefully when we try out there in August, if I'm playing center, I'm going to take a lot of pride in playing that position and carrying on that legacy that Drake and Fortner have started and that Coach Schlarman started with having smart and dependable centers that can play the game for us.
How long have you been snapping a football? Remember the last time you snapped a football?
I've been snapping since high school. I played center when I was first starting getting recruited. I played center in high school my first 2 years. So I did that freshman, sophomore year.
So nothing too crazy of a change.
No, not really. Have some experience doing it.
Going from guard to back to center, what do you pick up from that position that you maybe bring?
I think understanding a guard's mindset on plays to be able to communicate better. I mean, I think that's something Luke did really well, where he played right guard, and then me moving into his position, him sliding over. He understood what I was seeing as a right guard, and he understood the angles we want to get. It just made it easier for us to communicate because he could see the game through my eyes and his as well, to just get us all on the same page. So that's been really helpful, and I think I can replicate that same thing and keep that going.
So you say you starting, or you out there guard? Who are you out there with? I've seen. Sorry.
Yeah, I ran out with the centers today, playing center.
How you were having a pretty great year. I think ESPN said you were a mid-season All-American. What was it like to go through that injury and then to kind of just have to watch the rest of the season unfold for the Sox?
It was tough. I mean, it's been a dream come true to be able to play football here, just growing up in Nicholasville and being a UK fan my whole life. So it was tough to see it come to an end unexpectedly. But, I think it gave me some time to kind of sit back and just enjoy the process a little bit more. Because when you're game playing and everything, you kind of forget that, I'm playing football at the University of Kentucky. You're so worried about what blitz is coming next week. So it was kind of nice to just be able to take a step back. I was able to rest and heal and just be able to enjoy being around the guys.
We've heard a lot about Coach Inger reminding people of Coach Schlarman. Can you feel that in the room a little bit already? Can you see those similarities?
Yeah, they worked together at Troy, and they have that past that they've had together. And so I think that's just been really valuable. We can kind of some of the mannerisms and the coaching points are really similar, just having been together, and they coach the position very similarly.
He said his one rule is I don't do laziness. Have you seen somebody do laziness, and what are the consequences of doing laziness?
Thankfully, no. After one day of practice, we haven't seen any of that, and I hope we don't. That's just something that's the mentality this offensive line has. I mean, Schlarman started that no laziness, and so I think it's just something we don't have to think about anymore. It's just kind of second nature. The way we strain, the way we play hard is just something ingrained in all of us.
I heard a lot last year about the wide zone, and maybe you guys didn't run it as much as Liam intended. It feels like maybe this is the moment to make that change with the new faces on the line, Coach Inzer knowing that. What's the key to making that part of the offense work?
It's just wide zone is very different than our inside zone scheme we ran predominantly with Coach Grant, and so it's just a big difference in our mindset and the angles and the way we approach blocks, the way we're going to target different defensive fronts, the way we're going to ID things. And so it takes about a year or two to really, you have to major in it. You have to be really good at it if you want it to be a part of your offense. It's not just something you can sprinkle in. So we're really hoping to just kind of emphasize it further. And last year with Coach Cohen, he was really able to adapt to what we had. We had playmakers and a running back that was great at running north and south. That's all he did and was really good at it. I mean, that's C-Rod's specialty, is hitting that hole and going. And so when it comes to the point of the season, you just have to adapt to what we've got and do what we do successfully. And so we kind of ventured away from that, but I think we're going to try and emphasize that more in spring. We have time to really tailor those little details to push that wide zone scheme a little bit more.
When you're doing that, besides reps, just how do you get more comfortable making those adjustments?
You hit it there. It's just reps. It's something you can't just you can watch it on TV on the film as much as you want. Anything in football is that way. You can watch as much until you actually go out and do it over and over again. Those little muscle memory things, those habits won't build. So I think it's just going to be reps. That's all we need.
I know we asked about how Ginzer might be similar to Charmin, but how is Rich? I know it was only one practice, but his gravitas, how does he compare just in how his coaching style is to Lynn?
He's very methodical. The way he does things, and coming from the NFL, it's a very detail-oriented game when you get to the professional level. And I think he's bringing that attention to detail down to us, and it's going to make our offense just much better.
What should we expect from the tackles? That's obviously a big question. Losing Darian and Dare, what should we expect from that group of guys?
It's a young group, but I think they're ready to rise up to the challenge. I mean, we've got a lot of guys that can play tackle. They don't have much experience, but that's what spring ball is all about. We're going to get as many guys who want to play tackle out there and give them a chance. And whoever proves that they can consistently be the best guy on the field, they're going to be one that plays. So I'm really looking forward to seeing some young guys kind of take that next step, similar to the position I was in last year. I hadn't played before, and so it's these guys' turn to kind of take that next step in their game and take over a starting spot. So I'm excited to see who's going to do that and how they're going to pay attention to those little details in their game.
I know a lot of people like to talk about Keontae because he's enormous. Usually kids aren't his size, but what do you have to? I don't know if tell them is the right word, but how does one get acclimated with SEC football after just coming straight in from high school?
Yeah, it's hard, and Keontae is going to be a really good football player, and he's a really nice kid who's really eager to learn, and so we're excited to have him here. He's obviously a very talented guy in high school, and we're hoping that transition, we're trying to make that transition easy for him. It's hard for every freshman we've got, especially coming in mid-year. He was just in high school a few months ago, and all of his buddies are still in high school. And now he's got the grind of tutors, class, early workouts, and now spring practice. So we're just trying to ease all those young guys along. And he's a kid he's a sponge. He just loves to sit up in the film room all the time, just kind of learning the game as best he can. So he's going to turn out really well. I believe in him. He's a really good kid. And just once those things start to come to him, he'll be really good at football.
Some of the other guys, what's the energy level like, coming out of a 10-win season, another bowl win? Were you eager to get back out there today?
Yeah, absolutely. Especially I was eager to get out. It's been a while since I've been able to take some snaps, and I think the guys are just really excited. I mean, we had a good year last year, but that's past. We have new offense, new coaches that were ready to put a good step forward and just keep building what we were able to do.